And tonight on Joy News Prime, police investigators unraveling the case of the 3 girls who went missing in Takoradi last year discover another set of remains. We'll share the details of the latest findings with you and speak with experts about the value of these discoveries. The family is meanwhile appealing to civil society organizations to power pressure on the police to help find the girls. Nana Piamensa finally tastes freedom after Circuit Court today reviewed his bail conditions. And on our feature on the country's land borders, we focus on the Upper West region. In business,
Vice President Dr. Bawumia blames rising interest rates on lack of trust in Ghana's economy.
The nature of the social capital, the lack of trust in our societies, that keeps interest rates very high.
I'm Israel Iron. Joy News Prime comes to you live from the Joy News studio Akuffo here in Accra with digital address GA09925539. Stay tuned in. In our first story, police investigators unraveling the case of the 3 girls who went missing in Takoradi last year have discovered another set of remains. A tweet on the Ghana Police Service Twitter handle said the 4th set of human remains, were found in a well at Akuffo news site in Takoradi. The first tweet reads, it was posted about 2 hours ago, and it reads, police investigators today, August 6, 2019, discovered a 4th set of human remains in a well at Akuffo news site at Takoradi. The remains were discovered at an uncompleted building where Samuel Willis Odotek was rearrested in connection with missing persons and later convicted for unlawful escape. Investigations are underway to establish the identity of the remains while police continue with all angles of the ongoing investigation. Now, this latest discovery comes on the back of Friday's discovery in a septic tank at Kanserodo, also in Takoradi. Let's get on the line now and speak with Ina Talia Kwanza, who works with Radio Max in Takoradi. Now, Ina, there's a little confusion about where the latest discovery was made and how different it is from where the first discovery was made. Please help us better understand this.
Okay, sure. So the first place where the discovery was made happens to be the residence of Samuel Udotek Wills, that is at Kanserodo. And then the second discovery happens to be where he was rearrested when he escaped from the central police station in Takoradi. So this happens to be the second place he was rearrested. This place happens to be it used to be a cemetery, sort of. So this is where there is doubt in the minds of many people in Sekondi, Takoradi, that this place used to be a cemetery. So there could be possibilities that these are dead bodies some years ago that the police have gone to retrieve, or these are skulls or something of some dead bodies some years ago that the police have gone to retrieve.
No, so this information that you're just sharing with us is quite interesting. You're saying that where this latest discovery was made, at Akuffo, is quite close to a cemetery.
Yes, the place used to be a cemetery, and now it has been sold to people, so there are buildings all over.
So in effect, they're saying that it was retrieved in a well. It's possible that this well could probably be linked to a grave.
Sure, Israel.
All right, thank you very much. Ina Thalia Kwanza works with Radio Max in Takoradi, and she was just giving us this very latest updates that where the latest discovery was made actually happens to be an old cemetery, a disused cemetery. And there's a possibility, it is yet to be established though, there's a possibility that the remains that have been found or discovered today could possibly be remains retrieved from an old grave. We'll shortly be speaking with head of forensic science at the University of Cape Coast, Dr. Richmond Acquah, as this latest discovery will also be subjected to forensic analysis to see if they match the DNA of the missing girls. Before we get to that though, family members of the 3 missing girls, Takoradi girls, are appealing to civil society organizations and some prominent Ghanaians to put pressure on the police to help find them. Speaking on behalf of the families at the news conference in Accra, brother of one of the girls, Michael Labi Kranchi, stated the family members are optimistic the girls are still alive despite the discovery of human remains at the residence of the main suspect.
Now we feel the police needs to be pressured in order for them to act swiftly. They are working. We know they are working. They are doing what they can. But I think there is more effort. There is more to be done. So if the past presidents and civil society organizations put themselves in the matter, I think it would ginger the police to speed up their work. We are optimistic of seeing our girls alive and safe, as said early on by the National Security Minister, the Interior Minister, and the CID boss. We are once again calling on past presidents, the First Lady, and the Network for Women Rights in Ghana, Child Rights International, and all civil society organizations to intervene for us. The second issue we would want to address is about information given by the families, by the police, concerning the exhumation of human remains in a septic tank at the residence of Samuel Odotok Wells, one of the suspects. We, the families, want to ask the police some questions and to spell out our reasons why we don't want to avail ourselves for a DNA test. Our first question is, if the police claim they found human remains and that could possibly be the remains of our lovely girls, what becomes of the statement by the CID boss, the National Security Minister, and the Interior Minister that the girls are alive and safe?
Right. Meanwhile, President of the Concerned Mothers Association, Josephine Amu, says the police acted unprofessionally by not conducting a proper search of the residence of the prime suspect when he was first arrested.
Ladies and gentlemen of the press, we do not believe that the body part retrieved from the residence of the main suspect belongs to our Takoradi missing girls. If they were, then we want to say that our police and the national security have not acted professionally. Elsewhere, the so-called septic tank will be searched right from the first day when the main suspect was arrested. We want it to be on record that we believe the security of every individual in Ghanaian is in danger. We have said before, and we will want to state again that today, it is our daughters of Sekendi Takoradi missing. Tomorrow it will be somebody in Kumasi, Tamale, Accra, even Bolga. If it takes the security agencies almost a year to rescue our girls, then everybody's life is in danger. If we all do not speak out and register our displeasure about the way our security agencies have handled the matter, tomorrow it could be you or me.
So does this latest discovery affect ongoing investigations in any way? Joining us via Skype to analyze this is the head of forensic science at the University of Cape Coast, Dr. Richmond Acquah. Now, Dr. Richmond, for starters, would you say our security operatives have the resources to successfully do this analysis?
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. I would first and foremost say that, yes, the police has the necessary tools to conduct this investigation, that is the DNA analysis. The police has a forensic lab, very well equipped forensic lab for that matter. The DNA section of the Ghana Police Service is up and running. I think not long ago, the CID boss was able to procure some reagents for the DNA section of the police forensic lab, and it capacitates them to conduct this DNA analysis effectively.
All right, so we're told that it's going to take 4 weeks to get to know whether indeed the human remains that they found match those of the 3 missing Takoradi girls. Does it have to take 4 weeks?
Yeah, it depends. It depends on what the police want to do. For example, the remains have been found. Are they remains of females or males? For example, you need a forensic anthropologist to be able to do that. I don't know exactly what the process the police is going to go through to arrive at the final conclusion of this issue, whether indeed the remains that were taken from Takoradi were that of the missing girls. But if they are going to exhaust every single process, and of course we want the police to be very professional. We don't want them to do this in a rush. Earlier on, I said that we have put a lot of pressure on the police, and we need to be careful not to put them in a rush and make unnecessary mistakes. If the police, of course, says that they need 4 weeks to do this investigation or this analysis, let us give them the time. 4 weeks will just come, and I'm not sure it is too long a time, depending on the process they want to take this through.
Now, these remains appear to have been in the septic tank for quite a while. Does it in any way affect the quality or the ability of the police to assess them properly?
No. I won't say it does. For example, you could be concerned about the heat in the septic tank. I'm sure if I have not seen yet the remains, but if indeed there were no flesh, no muscles, and it was all bones, then you can tell that indeed in fact the septic tank has heat, which will aid the process of putrefaction and cause the decay process to go on very fast. And then the bones have a lot of DNA. Depending on the state of the bones, they can get DNA easily from the bones. So I'm not sure DNA is compromised.
All right. Now, can you quickly walk us through the process? The police will take the remains, and typically what happens next?
Well, it depends. As I said earlier, if they want to do some preliminary analysis of the bones, they may look at the anthropology. So they look at, there are specific features of bones for males and females. In this particular instance, we are looking at females. We are looking at these missing girls, and you would like to know whether they are males or they are females, and you can easily tell depending on the kinds of bones you get. And then they go into the DNA proper. During the DNA, this is where it becomes a matter of concern, because the family is refusing to avail themselves for cross-matching. And once they are able to get DNA from the bones, they will need a known DNA sample of the girls themselves or that of a family member to be able to tell whether there is any relation between the bones, the human remains that have been found, and the girls. If that is not available, then the results may be inconclusive. And we don't want to get to the point where we have any inconclusive results. I think the whole nation has been sitting on tenterhooks for a very long time concerning these girls. And this is the time where we need to call on the family members to cooperate with the police. If they need further analysis, after the police has done what they have to do, they can call for a second opinion. That is when another person or another entity may come in and conduct a second DNA analysis to confirm what the results of the police, I mean.
Now, there's this other information that's just coming through to us, Doc, and it has to do with the fact that where the latest discovery was made, it was found in a well, and we're learning that it happens to be near a disused cemetery. And there are concerns, or people are linking it to the possibility that it could be the remains from an old grave that has found its way into this well. Do you get to establish that as well in the DNA?
Yeah, there are concerns all the time. But I think this well has been in existence for a while, and whoever dug the well has possibly been using the well for a while. Let's not speculate too much. The bones have been recovered. It is up to the police to determine whether indeed these bones, the recent ones, have any significance in this issue. Of course, I am sure the police would take cognizance of the fact that the area where they dug the bones from, or where they retrieved the bones from, is a disused cemetery. That should go into the investigative process, and I'm sure it will guide them in their investigation and analysis. But let us not jump into conclusion that indeed, because it is a disused cemetery, that it means that it could be some old buried bones. But for example, if indeed there are old buried bones, there are also scientific processes to get to that.
Ascertain that.
Because, for example, in Ghana, before anybody is buried, normally the body goes through the mortuary process of embalming. So the body is embalmed. And indeed, if that body was embalmed, some of the chemicals would definitely get deposited in the bones, and those could be found. Right. A kidnapper will not embalm the body before disposing of it. So, all these, I'm sure there are experts in the police service who will go take this process. And we work closely with the police, and we give them advice all the time. So I'm sure whenever it becomes necessary, we will advise, and then the police will do their work very well.
All right, thank you very much. Dr. Richmond Acquah, he is the head of forensic science at the University of Cape Coast. And moving on, CEO of defunct gold dealership, Men's Gold, Nana Pia Mensah, has been released from police custody. Men's Gold boss, popularly known as Nam1, was released a while ago after his lawyers managed to meet the bail conditions set by an Accra Circuit Court, but only reviewed today. You do recall the court at its last hearing had set bail at 1 billion cedis with 5 sureties. But Nana Pia Mensah remained in custody as his lawyers were unable to meet the bail conditions. Last week, lead lawyer for Nana Pia Mensah filed an application urging the court to reduce the bail condition to 5 million cedis. But Tuesday in court, the presiding judge ruled that the persons who have pledged to take responsibility if Men's Gold CEO Nana Pia Mensah fails to show up in court to stand trial must no longer show evidence of owning properties worth 1 billion cedis. Spokesperson for Men's Gold boss Niema Amatefie spoke earlier on News Tonight.
Well, as we speak, he was able to meet the bail conditions that was reviewed by her leadership, Harriet Nakwele. So he's out of police custody now. It wasn't difficult at all for us to get the 5 sureties to come and sign, and then the 1 billion monetary terms that the judge gave to us today to meet. As a matter of fact, we left the court around 11:30 a.m. As at 1:30 or thereabout, we've gotten all the 5 sureties, and then we, together with the CID, we went through all the documentations. After that, we went back to the court registry where he was brought to the court, and then the 5 guarantors signed to the document. He also came and signed, and then he was released. Opportunity to speak to him after we met all the conditions, but I can tell you for a fact that he's a tiring man. He's tired at this point. The bail conditions were given to us. We were not able to meet those bail conditions, so he was kept in police custody for another week again, which means that he's been in police custody in Ghana for 3 weeks. Now that has gotten his spirit, I'm sure that he needs to rest. So I'm sure he will take some time to rest. After that, we'll hit the road again. As much as there's a tax to be executed, a huge one, of course, to pay our customer, which we are very mindful of, we'll definitely execute that. But for the meantime, I'm sure that the customers will even agree with us that our chief executive officer needs to rest a bit, after which, of course, we are going to arrange for a news conference where he will speak to the media, the general public, and then the customers as well, where he will outline the way forward of the company.
Now, earlier this year, red alerts were issued to Ghana about possible terror attacks on the country following bomb blasts in neighboring Burkina Faso that claimed several lives. Experts have warned that the many unapproved routes to Ghana make attacks by terrorists quite easy. In Joy News' series titled Porous Borders, our reporters visit border communities to find out about the levels of security there. In the following piece, Upper West correspondent Rafiq Salam reports that only 2 of the over 100 border communities in the region have security posts.
The Upper West region is one of the 16 regions of Ghana. It is located at the northwestern corner of Ghana, bounded to Burkina Faso to the north and Ivory Coast to the southwest. It covers a geographical area of 18,400 476 square kilometers, representing 12.7% of the total land area of Ghana. Until the creation of 6 other regions, it used to be the 7th largest region and made up of 11 municipalities and districts. The region has a projected population of 1 million people. By virtue of its location, the Upper West region has the potential for international and inter-regional trade and other bilateral relations, but the overspill of criminal activities and disaster such as bushfires, diseases and pestilence, armed robbery from the region's neighbors also pose a threat. There is even a more serious issue on hand now: the attacks on churches in Burkina Faso by suspected terrorists raise the alarm bells in the region. Kweku Bawane is a career diplomat and former external intelligence operative stationed in the Middle East. He was one of 4 Ghanaian external intelligence operatives embedded in Lebanon in 1972 to study or cover the problems of terrorism. He painted a mental picture of the porous nature of the country's borders in the northwestern end of the country.
Our border runs around almost about 200 miles, where you have to pick it from the Tumu area and come all the way to Hamele. Then from Hamele, you come southwest along the Black Volta, okay, all the way down to Taliewodo and all the way down there. And I'm saying that if I get 1,000 people and take them to any of those borders, all the 1,000 can actually go across and, each one find a route to get into, Burkina Faso.
There was fear and panic in the region following the arrest of a 51-year-old Burkinabe gunman during the church service at Hambele a couple of months ago. The arrest of Desiree Biligo and subsequent arrest of another Burkinabe gunman in Hambele has raised serious questions about the preparedness of the country's security, considering the porous nature of the country's borders, especially the Upper West region. Apart from the 2 official borders located at Tumu and Hamele, there are over 100 communities located close to the Black Volta that are without borders. Residents and other travelers use these unapproved routes either on foot during the dry season and boats during the peak rainy season. Chief Superintendent Abdullahi Zakaria is the Deputy Upper West Commander of the Ghana Immigration Service.
The unapproved routes are entry points that are unofficial, though unofficial, but are being patrolled by our special unit called the Border Patrol Unit. So in that case, we wouldn't say that our borders are porous, and we deploy officers based on intelligence.
Outgoing General Officer commanding the Northern Command, Brigadier General Francis Ofori, conceded that the country's borders are porous, but pointed out that plans are afoot to fixing them through monitoring.
When you go to some of the places, I won't tell you. I will not tell you. We have noticed that some places where, there are no immigration or custom personnel there to be able to man the place. But we have noticed a lot of those, and we are beginning to seal them. Sealing them in the sense of monitoring, keeping an eye over some of these things. So that what goes in and comes out, we are able to have some measure of control over those things.
The Ministry of National Security, in collaboration with the Upper West Regional Security Council, RECSEC, and its bid to ward off suspected terrorists from the country, deployed contingents of military personnel from the airborne force led by Major Fatau Abdullahi and stationed at the eastern corridor of the region. 3 dozen police personnel from the Foreign Police Unit FPU have also been deployed to undisclosed locations in the region to complement the work of the airborne force. Upper West Regional Minister Dr. Hafiz Bin Sali, who also doubles as the chairman of the Upper West RECSEC, spoke of plans put in place to make the region safe for the people.
They are not centered in war. They are at strategic points where we think that people are likely to try to come into Ghana through. They are stationed there so that there will be a barrier to those persons.
Kweku Bawane, however, has doubts about the strategy employed to ward off suspected terrorists from the country.
Where we are sitting right now, we are in Wa. From Wa to Burkina Faso, it's just 25 minutes. In 25 minutes, you are in Burkina Faso. You pass through my house, you go to Dormo, you are in Burkina Faso. By the time we are talking about Burkina Faso, people in Wa are taking to Hamele, and that place is so porous. How many security vehicles are on that road? There's almost nothing. Recently, when there was some support system, we had a formed police unit and some vehicles. Where are they? They are being withdrawn to Accra. What sort of security is that?
They are still on post.
Are they at post? Are they at Dormo?
Some are at Tumu and some are at Hamele.
Are they there right now as we are talking? Have you seen them today? Have you called today? But every district in the Upper West region needs not less than 10 pickups.
For now, the borders are porous. Constructing a fence wall will be too costly and not on the agenda of the government. However, deployment of more intelligence and security officers equipped with the state-of-the-art equipment to communities lying close to the Black Volta will maybe put a seal on the porous borders.
They are not well resourced. You go to them, they have no vehicles. When they have vehicles, no tires. When they have tires, there's no petrol. Anytime there's a problem, the politicians want to put pressure on the policemen. It will never work. I repeat, it will never work. Give the security personnel the tools, they will do the job.
Reporting for the news, Rafik Salam. Wow.
Let's speak to the Municipal Chief Executive and Head of the Security Council at Sisila East Municipal Assembly, Karimu Nanyua. Now, Sisila East is the closest to neighboring Burkina Faso and also through where the Burkinabes seeking refuge came. What have you done about the entry points in this area since warnings of terror attacks emerged and the arrest made of 2 Burkinabes with loaded guns?
Hello, sir.
Yes, Mr. Nanyua, I'm asking, what has been done about the entry points in this area, your area, since warnings of terror attacks emerged and the arrests made of 2 Burkinabes with loaded guns?
Unfortunately, the arrest was made in Hamele, not in Sisala East. Hamele is Lambousier district. But we also have influence in some of our communities, and I think as of now, they are still there. We are managing them. We've actually put our security eyes on them. We share the few facilities that we have with them. So as I speak with you, we live with them.
All right, but it's more about the porous nature of the borders and what has been done to contain the situation and avoid people sneaking into the country.
Contrary, because if you say porous, you know, I'm not a security person, and I don't want to use the word porous. I only want to say that we have a number of, or many outlets to Burkina Faso. But if we want to talk about our borders being porous, I think it's a different level of discussion that will be taken to.
You talk about several outlets into Burkina Faso. Are these outlets you're talking about manned and controlled by Ghana Immigration Service?
Oh, yes. As I speak, we have a number of immigration personnel. We have police. We have Ghana forces, and they're all around. And those outlets are being checked by this group of people.
All the outlets?
They may not be all the outlets, but they are on the ground, checking all of them.
All right, thank you very much. That was MC for Sisila East, Karimu Nanyua. You're watching Joy News Prime. We're taking a break, but still ahead in the bulletin. In business, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia blames rising interest rates on lack of trust in Ghana's economy.
The nature of the social capital, the lack of trust in our societies, that keeps interest rates very high.
Stay tuned. Sandra Feno will be back in a bit with business news. they were never perturbed by their disability when they met. At first sight, they opened the doors of their hearts to love each other, perhaps till eternity. It's a story of Stephen and Agnes, who finally got married after many disappointments in relationships as persons with mobility disabilities. Joy News' Henry Kwesi visited the couple married for the past 5 years in the Western region and brings you their love story.
Love brewed from the floor. Meet Stephen Kweku and Agnes Akings, two persons with disability, happily married together and blessed with 4 children, living in a single madhouse with their children.
I met her at a meeting for persons with disability. She refused my initial marriage proposal because of my condition. I convinced her that God will provide for us.
Before tying the knot, both had their separate ordeals in relationships. Growing up, Agnes Akings says she always dreamt of being married one day. Facing vast challenges as a female when it comes to dating, she tells me people hardly looked at her as a person, let alone as a lady or a potential date.
Men never had affection for me. Those who did just took advantage of me.
Agnes, who had been in a couple of relationships herself, recounts how she struggled after she gave birth with an able-bodied man.
I gave birth at the Efian Kwanta Regional Hospital, and I was given 7 pints of blood. The man who impregnated me didn't take responsibility, and the burden was on my mom. I struggled to take care of my child.
Because of such experiences, spending the rest of her life with someone just like her tended to be an ideal decision. Agnes tells me although her mother disapproved of her relationship with her husband, it was a decision she does not regret.
We saw each other secretly, and when my mother realized I was pregnant, she asked me to abort the baby. I refused. I loved Stephen. She thought he was incapable of taking care of the baby. But he didn't disappoint me and took really good care of me. I had vowed to be with him.
Due to his inability to walk, Stephen is faced with the harsh reality of not finding a decent job, just as most people in the country. As a cobbler, Stephen goes through the pain of crawling 5 hours to and from his workplace. Although he took very good care of his partners in all his relationships, he was always left broken-hearted.
Before I met my wife, a lot of women disappointed me. They were only interested in spending my money.
Stephen says he has finally found the love of his life.
Peace of mind. I decided to marry someone who is also physically challenged.
me twa komenim na taman na lobo from na mako don susando no ma mu hu be sabe ya mani je no a o ma me kanodo ma yankopon so ahye no hu anim nyam manyanya abodi ya na egudu ya hwe kakrakra I manage papa mu hu no sabi o atiti bi am bam life mokwejima me babotun ofie mari otumo ho matal oye di bama midi.
She does all our house chores.
Their children are appreciative of their parents' efforts at taking care of them. Mavis and Mercy are 2 of the 4 children they have.
I love my mom and dad because they take care of us. I love my parents.
Love, they say, is in the eyes of a beholder, and finding the right person could be sometimes challenging for many. But for these lovebirds, until death do them part, they will live happily together. Henry Kwesi this report for Joy News.
Well, I hope you find yours too. Moving on, family of murdered Tiger PI investigator Ahmed Hussein Swale say they are worried about the lack of information from the police on the status of investigations. They are demanding the speedy arrest and prosecution of culprits. Ghana lost its place as Africa's best-ranked country in the last World Press Freedom Index. The index made specific reference to the killing of Ahmed Hussein Swale, noting that, quote, there is not enough protection for journalists, unquote, in the country. Maxwell Agbagba has been following up on the status of investigations with the family of the murdered private investigator as part of our Defend Media Freedom campaign.
Hundreds of people are gathered at the Medina Cemetery. Some young men here are busily digging soil onto the remains of Ahmed Hussein Swale. His closest confidant, Anas Ayemaya Anas, is also here. One of the Islamic clerics who officiated the burial ceremony cannot hold back his tears as he says the last prayers for the deceased. It has been 6 months since Ahmed Hussein Swale was killed some meters away from his family house in Medina. I am back at the place where he normally sits with his friends to chat. I've met his brother, Ibrahim Kamilu Tahidu. He says there's a communication gap between the police and the family now.
The gap between the family and the police keep widening by the day. No communication flow. Sometimes trying to get the police to get some information is difficult. Though from time to time they'll call you, they have picked up somebody, come for identification, and that ends it.
He says justice must be served to protect media freedom, as he talked about how Ahmed Swale started receiving threats after his cover was blown.
One thing is for sure, that what has happened, justice must quickly follow. And this is totally sitting on the right of journalism. Indirectly, we are killing journalism in our country. If you are being killed for just doing your job and no action is being taken, how will others feel doing the same job?
I've met another family member who wants to remain anonymous. Ahmed Swale was responding to his call when he was killed. He became a subject of interest for police investigations.
Yeah, I called him for him to come so that we could take the child to the hospital. So he was responding to my call while the incidents happened. I was the last person he could talk to through phone call. We have waited for long. We didn't know that it would have been taking time like this. But anytime we try to talk to them, or you go there, they are giving you stories upon stories. Investigations are still going on.
Anas Areme Anas described the killing as an attack against journalists and not an individual.
Giant grain gate here at the Medina Cemetery lies the remains of Ahmed Hussein Swale. Days after he was killed, the then Inspector General of Police, David Asante Pietu, announced a 30,000 reward for anyone who could help find the killers. But many months after, the killers are yet to be found.
Joy News is yet to get a response from the Ghana Police Service after we contacted them for an update on investigations and other claims made by the family.
The Municipal Health Director for Karachi East, Amin Abdul Muttalib, says government must fix the poor healthcare delivery system in the municipality. The district capital, Dambai, which also doubles as regional capital for the newly created OT region, can only boast of an under-resourced health center. The situation is adversely affecting the health of the people, especially pregnant women. International non-governmental organization World Vision has stepped in with the commissioning of a modern CHIPS compound for the 160,000 residents of Cement, one of the Karachi East communities. Enes Menu reports.
There are over 300 communities in the Karachi East Municipal Assembly. The people are predominantly farmers and fishermen. Like many places in Ghana, the municipality has major infrastructural challenges, but perhaps the poor healthcare system there is what needs immediate attention. Amin Abdul Muttalib is the Municipal Health Director.
One is, let me say, mobility. Staff have to move from one area, catchment area, to another area to provide basically services. So motorbike need is very, very dear to our hearts. And then we have island communities that don't have a facility standard. So we normally organize an outreach program to those island communities. So we also need a support in terms of funding to travel to these island communities, stay there for about 2 or 3 weeks, provide these services, an integrated one before we come back.
Eva Ajete, a resident of Cement, one of the hard-to-reach communities in the municipality, tells me she nearly died on the lake whilst crossing to deliver at a CHIPS compound on the other side.
I was in labor and we needed to cross to the lake to see the midwife. I was in pain. At some point, I couldn't take it anymore, so I delivered at the bank of the lake. But we could not cut the umbilical cord of the baby. I almost died.
But that was the first experience. Her father says about 7 of them almost drowned 2 years later. She was pregnant with her second child.
My canoe started leaking, so I tried to get the water out of it. Then there was a storm that hit us and took me out of the canoe. I fell in the lake and began to struggle. I nearly died.
Today, the residents are optimistic the provision of a modern CHIPS compound by World Vision Ghana through their donors will alleviate their plight.
But now we have this facility here. So on a monthly basis, the midwife comes here to meet the pregnant women.
We're excited about this CHIPS compound. It's really going to benefit us. We welcome it.
If someone is sick, they will have to travel to another town, and that too, it costs much money. And some people are here, they don't have money. So, because they brought this, people can even walk to this place and for their treatment. So, if I may plead, what they did for us, we are happy. And if we may plead, they can do more for us.
The CHIPS compound comes with 3 nurses' quarters, a mechanized borehole at a cost of $66,624. This is the 6th CHIPS compound provided by the NGO. The Municipal Health Director, Amin Mutalib, tells Joy News government must upgrade the health facilities in the area, especially as Dambai has now been elevated to the status of a regional capital.
We expect that now that the municipality has been elevated as a regional capital, the health status or health facilities in the municipality has to also improve. We need to have a hospital, if not a regional hospital for now, at least the district hospital should be, constructed for now. They also have a health center, the Dambai Health Center, if it can be upgraded to a polyclinic status. We have a doctor there right now. If that place can be also upgraded immediately to a polyclinic so that it can provide some of the basic services that we normally refer to other facilities outside the municipality. So we want this immediate intervention to be done as far as the status of the municipality has been or changed.
Ernest Minu for Joy News.
Foreign Affairs Minister Shelley Ayoko-Botre says she is hopeful that the U.S. will lift the visa restriction sanctions placed on Ghana. The U.S. placed the sanctions following what the United States says is the government of Ghana's failure to accept some Ghanaians earmarked for deportation from the U.S. The statement that announced the restrictions warned that Ghana will be faced with more sanctions if the government's posture does not change. In February, when the sanctions came into force, Ghanaians expressed their displeasure with the actions as even lecturers of public universities were affected. But speaking at the Meet the Press series in Accra Tuesday, Madam Ayoko-Botre said government is engaging the U.S. to lift the sanctions.
Initially, we were told that it affects, I think, is it the G1 visas? Visas that cover our diplomats and their staff. Because usually when diplomats are going on posting, they are able to take some key staff. So for those ones, there's a ban on it. So they're not issuing any visas to that category. Then they said that it covers the legislature and the executive and our relatives. But subsequently, we have found out that when they say the executive, the Americans mean everybody on government payroll. So that covers some 600,000 people, from the relatives, my relatives, the minister's relatives, the president's relatives, all of us, covers all of us, to even, I believe that everybody on the consolidated fund in terms of salaries is covered. So teachers, I'm sure you heard that lecturers had been given that restricted visa. Their policy is to give 5-year visas. But now, for those who are affected, we will be given, for the B1, B2, which is the tourist visa, will be given 1-month visas.
Related development, the minister said it's not clear the number of people earmarked for deportation. Earlier media reports suggested about 7,000 people, but the minister said there's no evidence to support that claim.
They are asking that when they present requests for documents, we should quickly issue the documents. And then when I'm talking about requests for documents to our embassy in Washington for Ghanaians who have overstayed or who have criminal records or whatever and have finished their term, usually they do deport them. We should quickly expedite action on issuing the documents. As a country also, we do have a process. Because you see, most people when they are arrested do not have any documents on them. So they have to go through a process of ascertaining who they are, and they bring it to us. We also, on our side, have to make sure we go through a process. Yes, this is a Ghanaian. What is the matter? What is the case? Has it come through and come to the end of due process before we are able to do that? But we are cooperating with them. And as and when they bring, we work quickly on them. We're posting an extra officer there because the issue was also a matter of human resource capacity, because we didn't have enough officers, because these are the same consular officers who are dealing with passports, dealing with visas, and they have to deal with this as well. So we're working to ensure that we have a smooth running and there are no delays. And that dovetails into the question on the 7,000. Do we have 7,000 Ghanaians who have overstayed in the United States? Is it 3,000? Several numbers have been bandied around. But whatever the case, I believe that we do not condone our citizens going to another country to offend the laws of that country.
You have a good night and wish your life. Thank you very much for